Hey guys, welcome back to another episode, another week. Man, life is just rolling on by. I feel like it's been another month since I've done a check-in. So quite a few things to talk about today. So just so that you're kind of aware of how today's video is going to go, I'm going to talk about all the personal stuff, all the business stuff, and then I will do my actual check-in macros data, talk to you about carbon diet coach, all that stuff at the end. So if you have zero interest in listening to my personal life, just skip to the end of the video because that's where the good stuff is going to be. But what's been happening over the last month? So I've really been going through my second round of identity crisis. You're probably going to giggle at that, like, oh my God, what's up with Holly? So I think I've gone through this transition where, and I kid you not, I felt so against being a nutrition coach, it wasn't funny. I had to really decide, like, do I want to be somebody that is, telling you how to change your body? Like, who am I to do that? So I really kind of went hard on the, like, I don't want to be a coach anymore because I want people to love their bodies exactly how they are. And I truly do. Like, that's where I'm coming from. So I've had this mental tug of war for, like, how do I go about my entire business? Because I've kind of created my entire, business model on, fitness and nutrition. So I've kind of sat with this for a little while. I've definitely gone and listened to like all of the podcasts. I've done a lot of reading, lots of blogs and things like that for people that are involved in like the HAES community. So that's the health at every size. And I think one of the things that kind of strikes true to those types of podcasts, and again, I say this without any judgment at all, but they tend to be very biased to one side. And I can't help but feel like I'm not really that way inclined, but I'm also not someone that's sitting on the fence and saying, the only thing that's important is my physical exterior and, bodybuilding, being lean, because there's certainly individuals that are in that place. And I think a lot of people that are in that place also struggle quite a bit with their, their body image and their value and their worthiness and all those types of things. Where I kind of see myself, and I've kind of settled back in the middle, to be honest, and actually got a wonderful email from a lady probably earlier in the week. And she said, you know what, Holly, I'm really grateful for the social media stuff that you're putting out there about eating disorders and people that are struggling with their self-image and their identity, because typically what happens is that when somebody does recover, they do the all-in approach, they gain 50 pounds, and then they kind of stay there. And then they're very zealot-like for, being in this bigger body, and that anybody that continues to choose to have a fitness goal or wants to change their physique for their health or for their exterior, whatever it is, they tend to be very negative and judgmental. And I relate to that. This lady was like, I'm so happy to see that you're, still kind of going through this, working through it and choosing to continue fitness. I was really happy to get that email. In fact, I've had a couple of things similar over the last week just with some of the post content that I've been doing. It's really been a struggle for me, just knowing like which side to approach. So I think moving forwards for me, what makes a healthy body? I know that I still need to give some thought to my diet. If I want to, live for a long time and have a, high quality of life with an able body that's functional, that can move, I still need to take care of myself. Self-care is still going to be something that's important. But I think the differentiation between me and somebody like, the anti-diet crowd or the HAES movement is that I can really appreciate both sides of that argument. And it's just, I'm not going to take extremes anymore. And I think one of the things that I have started doing a little bit more with clients that I work with is screening a lot more for some of those disordered type eating behaviors, some of that negative body image, seeing if those types of things are coming through in those initial assessments, just to see, where we can actually make some improvements and help somebody achieve their overall goals, be it maybe happiness or value or worthiness, or that they feel like they're important and that they're enough, and tackle it from a different approach rather than just having it coming from, diet and exercise. And we can start to incorporate a little bit more of the psychology. So that's kind of the crisis that I've been going through over the last few months, really just trying to decide, like, who am I? What do I want to help people with? What am I about? So I think that there is a bit of a gap in the industry. It seems that there are people that are very, they're sitting on both sides of the fence. Like, I don't know anybody that I can like start following that really sits in the middle yet. I hope that I can be that person and that bridge to connect both sides, because I know so many people really are struggling with a lot of the psychology side of things where, you know, they've really started to doubt their physique and that the only way they see themselves, you know, in a positive light is if they are lean. And I don't think that that's a good place to be either. So hopefully you'll start to see some more content coming through that kind of address, you know, a multitude of different topics. That's kind of what's been happening in my brain for the last few weeks. And the consequence of all of that kind of confusion or like this shift is that it does really impact like everything in my life. It's not just, you know, me personally. It affects our brand, it affects our company. And I've done a lot of kind of thinking and road mapping and kind of writing down like all the tasks and things that I do, you know, on a weekly basis. And then I'm now kind of deciding with our team, like what should Holly actually be involved in? You know, what tasks are absolutely essential, what does she have to do? And then what things can we start delegating and where do we prioritize? So that's always been something that I think I've had a hard time managing, because there has always been like so many things. And so it was kind of overwhelming, and we tallied it up and I think it came out to like 14 hours a day if I was to commit to these things. And it makes sense why I'm always exhausted and why I'm working until like 11 o'clock at night when I actually wrote them all down. I can't function like that. And I think, you know, for anybody else out there that might be kind of going through some inner turmoil and stress, like the best thing, and I wish that I had done this earlier, was write down everything that I do. Time block, track where I'm spending my time and what things are essential and what things are not, and then start, you know, delegating or just saying, no, you're not doing this anymore. This is wasting time, or this isn't important. You know, it can wait and be attended to at a later date. I've been really trying to determine what projects I'm going to be working on over the next year. We've got some really exciting ones, and I think you guys probably recall me saying at the end of my competition that I'm going to be doing a Team BioLane WBFF Worlds team. So that is definitely on the agenda. I've already mapped out exactly how that's going to work. My plan is to have a couple of different tiers so that we can have people coming in at this level, and then there's like a group level, and then there's like one-on-one level as well. So that is going to happen. So if you are somebody, again, that's sitting on this side of the fence that still wants to have a fitness goal, that's okay. That's going to be coming up next year. So for anybody that is unsure of when the WBFF Worlds Championships are, it is in August. So my guess would probably be we want to leave somewhere between, you know, 15 to 20 weeks to actually prepare for that. So think about those dates, back calculate from the first week of August what that might mean for you, because that's when I'll probably start to actually bring in all of the girls and kick that off. But we'll do advertising and I'll have all of that detail probably by the end of the year. So that's one big project. Another one that I am prioritizing is my book. So again, we went through my schedule and I was like, I don't have anywhere to write right now unless I want to write on my weekends, which is not something that I want to do. I want to be able to have some time off. So I finally blocked out like 3 hours every Friday to just write. So I'll probably just plop myself down somewhere outdoors with my coffee and just write. So that's a huge project, and I'm still kind of working through how that's going to be presented. I'd love to be really focused on, you know, the disordered eating, like my story, but I also want it to be something that is, you know, really helpful and valuable to you guys. You know, here are some practical tools and strategies and resources that I've used myself to help me get through, you know, this extremely difficult phase in my life. Because you can pick up, you know, a YouTube video here and there, or you might be able to find a book on it, but trying to kind of bring everything together, the resources seem to be very scattered, and it's hard to kind of get a clear picture on like, what are my priorities? How do I work through this? Where do I even start? So my goal with that book is to do a bit of a bio and share my story, and then help you guys as well. So that's project number 2. The next thing I think that I am going to be working on is tidying up our spring into summer challenges. So we've just finished our last spring into summer. I've got to make the announcement today. Very excited about that. We're going to be refining that process and a lot more interaction, a lot more videos, just more resources and like communication so that our participants really feel that sense of like connectedness. So that's something that I will be working on too over the coming months. And then I've got my clients, and I've got carb, and I've got outwork. Oh my God, outwork. I'm so excited. Okay, I've been talking about a product that I feel connected to for a long time. And just as we were about to launch our macro mixes, which was several months ago now, whey protein isolate specifically, kind of became like a hot commodity. Pricing doubled. Whatever our SKU price was for, whey isolate, it had literally doubled, and we can't very well like hand over that cost to all of our customers. So we basically had run out of protein. We had like a month or so where we didn't have any to sell because we just couldn't get it anywhere. We finally got it back, and we have placed our first order for our new macro mixes range. So this is like, I use this stuff every day, like every single day of my life. I can't tell you the last time that I didn't have it unless I was like traveling. So it's like all your favorite flavors, all the powdered mix-ins to add to your yogurts, to add to your breakfast cereal, your oats, to flavor pancakes, waffles, brownies, all the good stuff. So that line is about to drop. Not soon, like not tomorrow, but very soon. So we've had to order, we're getting all our labels sorted. So that is another thing that I have, I guess, been working on behind the scenes. So super busy. I feel like I'm going a little bit crazy at times. I never have time or can be consistent at anything. So I'm really just now starting to kind of like trim the fat and get back to like a manageable workload, because filming has not been something that I've been able to be consistent with. Just as an example, like today, I was meant to film my training session, and I was like, oh, I've got to do an onboarding for a new writer for our site at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I can't do that filming session anymore. By the time I get over there, we're just not going to have enough time. And it was going to be a new gym too. So I wanted to kind of introduce some of our new workout builder programs. That's another project. So yeah, I just feel like I'm a shambles. And you probably are getting that from this video, so I'm all over the place. But that really is a nice piggyback into what I wanted to talk a little bit more about today, which is, are you somebody that is a perfectionist? And are you somebody that has extremely high goals? In my own, I guess, therapy and journaling and reflecting, one of the things that really has stood out to me is that the way that I was raised, which was basically like, you're gonna be the best, like, you're gonna win, and everything was about, the performance. And I think that kind of cultivated itself in me as like this desire for perfection. It's kind of bled into all areas of my life. And that's because that's how I was raised. Our parents were very hard on us with our schooling and our academics. They were very tough on us from our athletic performance. Apply that to anywhere. How you look, you have to like be presented perfectly. You have to speak perfectly. I never really realized how hard I was on myself. And then I also never realized, because I've never had like a consistent, stable environment of like people, because I've moved around so much over my life, I also have really high expectations for everybody else. And it turns out, I think I have unrealistic expectations of others and myself. So one of the things that I am really trying to work on, and my hopes are that this actually helps with like my overall happiness and like just the general like joy of life. I'm hoping that if I can start to kind of tame down that drive for perfection, and that things need to be done perfect, and that like you should be doing all these things, that other people in my like space will, I guess, enjoy me a little bit more, because I think I just annoy the crap out of everybody, because I'm like, no, you can do better than that. And then also like the standards that I set for myself. So I have a couple of friends, and I know they'll probably watch this. You know who you are, I'm not gonna say who you are, but I just know that there are so many people out there that are incredibly incredibly driven. They're high achievers. You know, they give 120% for everything that they do. But one of the struggles or the challenges with that is if you're constantly trying to perfect and to fix, you never really get a sense of like satisfaction, and like it almost comes across like you're not grateful. So that's one of the things that I am personally working through at the moment. I've got some really great books. I'd love to show you my bedside table. I think it's the most books that I've ever read in an entire year. Like, I would say what I've read this year matches probably what I have read over like a 4-year period previously. Like, I have been so in the books and like just absent from everything else, but it's been so good because, you know, I think it's really important to focus or to give time to the things and the areas in your life that you need to improve upon. That's kind of what I'm working on personally. Lots of reading, lots of self-development, lots of prioritization, and just like really getting into the nitty-gritty of like, who is Holly? Who does she want to be and who does she want to help? That's the personal stuff. Next up, I would like to go through Carbon Diet Coach, and I'll just show you a little bit of my tracking. I'll tell you what my current goals are and some stuff about the app, perhaps. So let's get to it. Alrighty, so first off, let's just talk goals, because we've got to lay the land out before I can tell you like how this relates. So for the people that were like, oh, Holly, do you ever put your phone down when you're doing these videos? There's a reason that I have my phone in my hand, because I usually do my check-in, which is screen recorded. So I was looking through some of the comments a few weeks ago and someone's like, are you like addicted to your phone? Like, you've got it while you're even filming, like, whoa. So here it is, guys. So my goals right now from a training perspective are shifting quite a bit. Again, this is all kind of coming through from that really doing some like deep inner searching. And one of the things that I really want to change, I strongly want to feel motivated and excited by, you know, the training and the activity that I'm doing. So I wrote down a list of things that are not gym-based that I know I really enjoy. So one of the things that I haven't done in years, and I really want to do it, and I am going to make it a priority to find a center to do this at, is dancing. So I grew up doing tap jazz and ballet, song and soft shoe, group song and dance, like all that kind of stuff. So I love singing and dancing. I also like hip hop. I've only ever done it for like a season when I was like, I don't know, in my 20s, but I haven't done any dancing since then. For all of those people that, you know, will go and do their daily steps, like you're tracking your steps, I've got my steps here. I was like, look, I love walking. I do love getting outdoors, but I would probably enjoy something else more. And at the end of the day, why do I do that walking? I know it's good for me. I know it's good for my health. I know that it's important to get outside, get some vitamin D, get some fresh air. It's good for your mental health. So there's going to be walking in my program. But I want to switch some of that activity to something that I actually really enjoy, that kind of connects me to the community, that gets me, you know, in a social environment. Because since I've lived in America, I have been so focused either on my competition goals or business scaling that I really haven't made time for developing like true connections. And the people that I've developed the most connection with like started as clients. It's crazy, which is still wonderful. Like, I'm so pleased and happy that I have the friends that I do. But, you know, I've never really put myself out there. And, you know, again, thinking back to like, what are my priorities for me personally and in business? You know what, I really do need to make time to, you know, expand my network of friends, like people that aren't necessarily in the fitness industry. So I'm going to find somewhere I can go and do dancing. The other thing that I used to love doing, and I haven't done it in probably 7 years, is running. I know all of you, I just lost all of you. Just hold up, hear me out. I'm not like gonna go do 10-mile runs or anything. I just miss that feeling of like, I don't know, it's like a zen. I used to do like 5-kilometer runs, and I think, oh goodness, I used to like do time trials, and I think my best 5-kilometer run, which had a big hill in it, was about 19 minutes. So like I was hammering, like I used to love that, but I have no intention of running up hills these days. But I'm going to start back with just 1 run per week. And here's exactly how I'm going to do that, because I haven't run in a long time. So I don't want to get myself injured, shin splints, sore calves, I don't know, snap my spine, you know, anything's possible at this point. So I'm going to start off by just running for 5 minutes. I'll just jog. Like I'm just going to jog, and then I'll probably do, you know, my normal 45-minute walk. Next time I come back and do it, I'll do a 10-minute run. So I will progressively build up my runs until the point where, you know, it's comfortable for me to do like a nice 20-minute, just moderate intensity run. And I'm probably gonna take 30 minutes to do that. You know, a 5-kilometer run, 30 minutes, that might be realistic for me. I have no idea. So that's the second thing that I really wanted to do. Something else that I had said to Lane, because we never spend any time together, was like, what's something that we can do? Because when I married that man, I was like, yeah, we're gonna be training buddies. This is gonna be amazing. Like, we're gonna go to the gym, just like, that's what I love, you know, having like something to bond over. But our goals have been so distinctly different, and he's currently got world championships for powerlifting and is deadlifting like 690, 700 pounds, squatting 700 pounds. So we're not really going to be able to train together, right now at least, but we've discussed in the future. We are going to plan a single day of the week. So I'll train, resistance train, probably 3 or 4 days. And one of those sessions, I'm gonna write a program that we can both do. Not just go to the gym together and go, all right, I'll see you later when we get done. Like, actually do the work together, because I really miss that. So that's one thing that we are going to kind of incorporate into our like lifestyle. Lucky last. So I recently bought paddle boards, stand-up paddle boards, and some rollerblades. I've thought about doing this for like the longest time, and I just haven't actioned it. You know, when you're like, yeah, that'd be so good, or oh man, I wish I could like longboard or get my skateboard out or something, and you know, we just don't do it. So I've been saying that because I used to do that kind of thing all the time. Like, my activity was outdoors, like going for a kayak or whatever. So I've bought our family 2 new stand-up paddle boards. The kids had to go over the weekend, and I've got myself a pair of rollerblades, and I got a spare pair for any friend that comes to visit, especially Shelly. She comes in and I've got her little size 7.5, so small. And last weekend, me and Samantha, our Director of Operations and Team BioLane Manager, we all went out together and had a really fun time. So bringing back in some of those like fun activities that are going to get your energy expenditure up, your heart rate up, blood flow, but it's fun. That's kind of been the things that I have thought about like changing when it comes to my activity. So that means my daily step target's probably going to be a little bit lower over the next few months, and I haven't kind of worked it into my program yet. I am waiting for our new workout builder platform to be finished so that I can do that. But also thinking about how I structure my training programs, and I'm actually going to be recording a video here for you in a moment, how I set up a program. So my main focuses, or my main goals between now and next year's Worlds, which will be in August, is basically just to continue to grow my shoulders. So there'll be a lot of shoulder volume. We're talking posterior, anterior, medial shoulder. Every session is going to have, you know, 3 shoulder exercises in it. So I'm talking like probably 9 to 12 exercises over the course of a week for my shoulders. And then glutes. I really just kind of not let myself go, but I just wasn't training consistently for like the last year, and I lost so much size. So glutes are coming back in, and they're going to make up like 15 exercises of my week's training block. So a lot of glute volume, then my quads, and I'm basically just doing 1 back exercise, 1 chest exercise, 1 lot of calves, like that's it. So the program is going to be so tailored to glutes and shoulders, a little bit of quads and hamstrings, and then basically that's it. So yeah, I encourage you to go and check out that video, because I'll be going through how I actually break it down and how I set up full body workouts versus single muscle groups like upper, lower, or push pull. So you'll have to go and check out those YouTube videos too. So let's go back to the nutrition stuff. Alrighty, so you can see me here. I am going to go to the me section in Carb and Diet Coach, and I have got pulled up here for us my protein intake. So it's very, very good. You can see here. One day it's at 172. Apparently Monday I didn't eat. I just didn't track. Then there's another day here where I had 26 grams of protein. Go me. 62 grams of protein. Oh guys, like this is me being human and just trying to live life. Like, we can't be perfect all the time. So I'm coming to terms with this. Previously, like take me back 5 years, I would have probably had a heart attack if I saw this data. So yeah, I have come a long way. But this is not positive, by the way. This is not something I would encourage you to do if you are really striving for some growth. But I am just all over the place. There's days where I just don't track at all. And my goal is to, like, now that I've kind of prioritized where my time is going to be spent and I've redone my whole calendar and schedule, now that will be kind of the next thing. Okay, let's slowly get back into some of those good tracking behaviors that will facilitate, you being able to achieve those goals. Protein has been all over the place, as you can see. I probably am not going to be compliant this week. We'll go and have a look at my overall calories. So again, I don't know how accurate any of this is. Sometimes I've just been like putting in recipes because I'm creating something for a book. So it looks like over the last 7 days, my average calorie intake is 1407. So I don't know that I really believe that, because I've definitely put on weight. I haven't been on a scale, haven't seen a scale. I don't even know where our scale is. Yeah, I've really just been trying to eat like 3 meals a day. I know that I should have protein at each of those meals. I have been really just listening to what my body needs. And I've also had a lot of like slip-ups during this time too, because I have been quite busy. So just as an example, there is a particular cookie company that I haven't had for quite some time. And for all of you that have followed along on my journey, you've noticed that I have been kind of talking a lot more about binge eating disorder and bulimia, anorexia nervosa, specifically those who have struggled with binge eating disorder. One of the things that tends to happen is that we end up overeating because we are just not equipped to cope with our emotions, and food becomes the resource that we go to help ease that discomfort, that emotion that we're feeling. So I've obviously had to rewire all of my thinking so that that is no longer my outlet, and I cope with it in other ways. But during that process, the foods that were once like high up on the hierarchy, they slowly and eventually start coming back down, and you generally then have a neutral, relationship with that food. It's no longer really important. It's also like, it's not negative either. It's just in the middle. But for all of the foods that I have reincorporated back into my normal day-to-day life, I give myself permission to eat pretty much anything that I want. The one food that I hadn't had for a long time were these like giant cookies. I had a moment last week, and I've shared this with all of my clients too that might have been struggling with similar things. I was like, I ate like a large chunky ass cookie, like a 300-gram cookie every single day of the week last week, like Monday to Friday. And those cookies are like 1,000 calories a piece. And by Friday, I'm like, what is going on, Holly? Like, I thought you were past this. Like, I wasn't angry. I didn't like get upset. I didn't ruminate on it. I wasn't laying there on my bed staring at the ceiling like, what have I done? But I still had like these moments where I'm like just downright frustrated. I'm like, oh, that was dumb, So that was an experience that I had last week because it was something that I hadn't eaten for a long time. So for anybody that is going through that kind of emotional roller coaster with, the recovery process of binge eating disorder and overeating, it's normal to relapse at times. The goal as you are recovering is to reduce the frequency, and then over time, reduce the thinking and thoughts of food. And also, if you do have a slip up, how quickly you are able to recover. And all of those things for me are like have whittled down to like almost nothing over time. Don't beat yourself up if you have a little like whoopsie moment like that. I remember I was pulling on one of my pairs of shorts that I'd got just before my bodybuilding competition a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh gosh, they don't fit again. That sucks. I really liked those. But that was my response. It wasn't, oh my God, like I'm pinching my body and I'm like so depressed that I've got, a little bit of cellulite on my legs again. Like it's just a totally different mindset and approach to how I view, food. I think that's really about all that I have for you guys this week. As far as like my nutrition, I've got targets. They're like 1600 calories or so. I've had no compliant check-ins since my competition, and honestly, I am really disappointed about that, but I chose to throw myself back into work, and that's just the reality of it. But I'm getting better, every time I do these. So I'm in such a better head place. months. My reverse is not going as well as I would have liked, but you know, that's life. You know, things don't always go according to plan, but that's all from me, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this check-in video. If you guys have any questions, struggles, anything that you'd like answers to, please feel free to leave me a comment. If you guys want to get your hands on Carbon Diet Coach, remember it is our nutrition coaching app. It is not just a macro tracker like MyFitnessPal or anything. It actually coaches you to your goals, be it muscle building, fat loss, maintenance, reversing. So go and have a look at the links in the description. You can go and check out Carbon Diet Coach. And of course, if you are wanting any other services or products, we'll put those links in the description as well. So until I see you next time, guys, have a great week.